Welcome back to BVarsity Live. Zach Ewing and Trevor Horn with you here in the studios at the downtown Californian office. We're chatting with Nick Papagni. ThePagmeter.com is the website, and he keeps track of athletics throughout the Central Valley better than anybody. And so we're talking some baseball with Nick. We talked D1, how wide open it is. How about some of the lower divisions, Nick? I mean, do you have a team you like down there that maybe you could play with the big boys?
Yeah, I would. You look at even D2, and it's going to be so darn even. Edison, El Diamante, Fresno High's making a splash with all their great pitching. Yeah, I think even you go all the way to D4 with Bakersfield Christian, who's knocked off a lot of D1 teams.
Gabe Garcia being the main.
Yeah, Fireball. I mean, there's some teams in all the divisions can hang with anyone this year. This is, like I said, it's one of the fewest years I've seen where the D4 teams can sneak up and win one game, can beat anyone in Division I.
Sure.
So, yeah, this is the year of the pitching.
And one team we haven't mentioned yet, which made the championship game of the lower division in Visalia, is the Golden Valley. And, you know, when they've got Austin Turner on the hill, you better look out. They can beat anybody.
Stick them in there as well, and that's going to, boy, D4, it's going to be one heck of a race. With I just see that going down. Because I'd love to see every playoff game, but when you look at the battle for the top two seeds again, if it's going to be a rawhide, so you want to get the top two seeds in, it's going to be a battle.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Chowchilla had a great. I mean, they struggled in the Easter Classic. They came in at 11-0, but now they're 11-4 now. But Bakersfield Christian, Fireball, Exeter, Golden Valley, and Emmanuel. It's only about Taft. Taft has some injuries, but they can pitch.
Well, speaking of Taft, we're going to transition over to softball for a few minutes. Trevor, you had a little bit of news from this week as far as softball goes.
Yeah, Centennial beat Piedra Vista out of your home state of New Mexico down at the Michelle Carew Classic 3-2 today, and they're actually playing Cypress as we speak right now down there in Anaheim. And then a little news and notes. Caitlin Emberson, Nick, I don't know if you know this, but she is 2 home runs shy of tying the Central Section record, which was set last year by
Rachel Metzger.
Yeah, Metzger out of Garcia, who's now at Kentucky.
Out of Garces.
Yep.
Not
and
Garcia.
then Metzger's previous record of 170 career RBIs was shattered already by Emberson, who has 199 career RBIs in her 4-year career for the Taft Wildcats, who went 2-2. I believe, at the Fresno Easter Classic, or 3-1. I know they had the 1-0 loss with Arizona Pilgrim on the mound with a battle against number 2 Buchanan.
Nick, last year we had a situation, Centennial won D1, Hanford West won D2. I believe it was Redwood in D3 and Taft in D4. And I think I threw out there, this would be a perfect year to have a tournament of champions and have the D1 champ play the D4 champ, D2 play D3, and have the winners play, because they were all in separate divisions, but man, they all dominated those divisions and were so evenly matched. It's not quite the same this year because I think D1 is a little bit more loaded as usual, but how do you see the softball landscape?
I agree with you. I got to watch Taft play El Diamante the other day. Went 4-3 in 9 innings, and Taft is outstanding. And Buchanan got to play Taft. I think Buchanan beat him 1-0, but they were very impressed. And they said the same thing. How is Taft playing in Division III when they could probably win the whole thing in D1? Yeah, it's all about pitching and softball. And if you got someone who can hum, they can hang with anybody. I look right now, and I really think it's Central and Clovis and Centennial just on the edge. But those two teams are the teams to beat. Buchanan's good. They're young. Bullard's good. They're young. But, boy, Central with Gianna throwing and Clovis are young, but they can swing the bats and run. Centennial is the team to watch for. Again, and if you're always the defending champs, Frontier's off to a great start. You know, they got a great record. But, boy, Central is tough when you got that. And they can swing the bats as well.
Yeah, well, that was what I was going to say, is everybody seems to be overlooking Frontier when they've beaten 2 of those teams head-to-head in Central and Centennial. But, Centennial has had the up-and-down season just like they did last year. They got it rolling in the playoffs. That's not always easy to do, especially when you're on the road, but they did win those 2 big road games. I think the quarterfinal was at Bullard and the semi was at Clovis last year, and then they got the championship game at home. But they've certainly got all the tools in place, too. It's a fun D1 bracket in softball because all those teams sort of have one really big strength and then maybe another part of their team that's not so strong. And that D1 bracket could really be a dogfight from the quarterfinals on.
Yeah, personally,
Oh,
for me, I think that
go ahead.
Frontier is the number one team in Kern County. When you got Casey Olson on, in the circle for the Titans, they're almost unbeatable. And then you look at it, they've got Samantha Escobar, who's got 23 RBIs, and you look at another girl, Kaylee Fahey. I mean, that's a very solid team all the way around. The biggest thing for me with Centennial is their outfield play right now, because you replaced all seniors from last season, and I think that once those girls start to kind of round out, whenever you've got two great pitchers in McNew and
Oren.
Yeah, sorry. Madison Oren. I mean, that's a very good Centennial team too, but I think the full component is more so with Frontier than Centennial right now.
Yeah, and then again, they'll play two more times. Frontier did beat them in their first league game last week. Nick, lower divisions, we mentioned Taft. Who else do you look out for in softball? And Hanford West, I believe, is now up in Division I. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're in Division I. They could be a little sleeper. They swing the bats. They got a young pitching
Yes, they
staff.
do.
Yeah. Division II, it really looks like it's going to be Redwood. Madera, LD moved back down to Division II. Ridgeview's right there. Sanger's very scrappy. And look at Kingsbury come in and had a heck of a Easter Classic. They beat some good teams. So even Kingsbury, they moved up to D2. So, yeah, D2's going to be pretty good.
Nothing like a good softball game. They're usually quick moving. They're competitive. Nothing beats a good softball game in my book. So softball season's looking like it could be quite a stretch run as well, starting next week when all these teams return from their spring break tournaments. Nick, while we have you for a few minutes, and we might not talk to you again before the summertime, so let's throw it out there. Who's your number one football team in 2015? Have you thought about it much yet?
Oh, I'm already going to be posting my top 10. Are you kidding me? This is my top 10 going in.
I knew you were the guy
Number
to talk
one,
to. Okay.
The Liberty Patriots are my number one team going in. Number 2, the Bullard Knights. 3, Clovis West. 4, Clovis. 5, Edison. 6, Bakersfield, because I just don't know yet who's going to be quarterback. It's all about quarterback with the Drillers. You get a quarterback, they'll probably move up to number 1, 2, or 3. Without a quarterback, they're in the lower top 10. Then I got Clovis North. Tulare is going to be very good this year. Dinuba, Hanford. Those are my top 10 if I did them right.
All right.
No,
I like
Ridgeview.
it.
So Liberty's a team I really like. Ridgeview is going to be right there. I think I had them at number 10. So sorry about that.
Okay.
Back. They're right there as well.
Yeah, I
really
don't
like Liberty. I like them. Go ahead.
So what do you think is the biggest problem with Ridgeview right now? Is it the fact that they have to replace 4 of their 5 starters offensive line? Because you look at it, they might have the most stacked skill positions available than any other team, maybe outside of Liberty, right?
No question about it. They lock and load every year. They've got so much talent. I call them the Edison of the South Valley. They just lock and load, and somehow they're going to find a way to find the offensive lineman, and they're going to have speed everywhere again. They're just good, and they need to be playing Division I.
And they will be, I think, in another year after this.
2016, yeah, they'll be D1.
Especially if they have another good year this year. But tell us about your choice of number 1, Liberty. We all know they had Anthony Mariscal, who was probably their best player overall last year. They lost him, but they've still got Chris Barnes, who we've had in here a few times before, Jordan Love at quarterback, Curtis Brown, who'll be a junior on the defensive line.
Who just received an offer from Washington State.
What went into your decision for the Patriots at number 1?
The first thing I look at when I do rankings is quarterback. So who's coming back? Senior quarterback Jordan Love. I was so impressed in the Valley Championship game how he stood in the pocket and got just toasted over and over again. He never settled for anything less. He didn't shy away. I love that kid. I think you give him a summer of ball, and he's going to be the true leader and probably one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the Valley. And that's a big reason I went in there. Liberty and Jordan Love. I love that kid. And he's just still learning. He's green.
And Bullard at number 2 surprised me a little bit. They did have a very young team last year. You think they make a big leap?
Bullard has everybody coming back, including, I think, one of the top 3 running backs in the Valley. Charles Williams, just keep an eye on him. If Fresno State doesn't get him soon, this kid's 200 pounds. He runs like a wind, and he'll run you over. He's probably the most underrated running back, and they got the whole defensive coming back, and they got the whole offensive staff coming back. Bullard is going to be the team to watch out for here in the North Valley. Edison is still looking for a quarterback. If they get one, they're going to be very good. Clovis has everybody but a quarterback, And Clovis West is going to be loaded. Keep an eye on the Golden Eagles. That team is going to be very good around here.
Clovis West very nearly came down here and beat Liberty in the quarterfinals of the D1 Valley playoffs last year, and they've got a lot coming back on that team. I will say Bakersfield at number 6. And again, the quarterback is an issue, but I think in Paul Gola's tenure, it's been maybe 1 year that team has not made the semifinals. So that would be a surprise if they didn't. But like you say, there are question marks.
On who's quarterback.
Yeah,
the key is quarterback. But run that offense. If they have to go back to a Wildcat, it's in the favor of every defensive team in the Valley. If they start running the triple option again and get the quarterback play, lights out, drillers are in. This is their year again. It's that, every other year they're like the San Francisco Giants. They will be good. If they don't get the quarterback play, forget it. Drillers will struggle. They'll probably lose 2 games. But no, they need a quarterback play for that offense.
Yeah,
could see a Liberty Bakersfield Valley Championship potentially if the Drillers get it together. Trevor?
Yeah, and that's Moran is in the running. Kira Gregg is back and in the running at quarterback. And then the freshman who ran the JV offense last year is in the running. So they got a 3-headed race once again this year like they did last year.
And I think one of their big problems last year, frankly, was that they never really decided on a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
It was Kira Gregg for a while, and then they decided to use Marcus Bruce and Lemicio Hill in a Wildcat situation. They never really settled that down through, even as successful as they were for a while, state ranked and everything, but they never settled that down.
And then when you look at Liberty, too, they have another big addition. Brady Serta has transferred from Frontier over to Liberty, so he's going to fill that void in the at the safety position that was vacated by Mariscal and Stavros Katsantonis.
And a big target in the offensive game as well for Jordan Love. So,
exactly.
Well, Nick, we're going to let you go. We got to take our last break, but we appreciate the knowledge as always, my man, and we'll see you here in baseball, softball season as we wind down.
You got it. Hey, best show. Keep it up. Keep up the good work, guys. Have a good Easter.
Thanks, Nick. You too. That is Nick Papagni. Thepagmeter.com is his website. This is BVarsity Live. We're going to take our final break and be back with you for a shortened last segment here in a minute.